Hey everybody. Hi. It's Claire Smith coming across your news feed. And happy Friday, happy December 1st. And I am happy to be here with you guys. Some of you hopefully are joining me from Instagram. I was just on my Instagram stories, letting you know that I was coming on here live. Side note, if you are an Instagram follower and you don't follow me on Insta, this would be a perfect time for you to do so. I'm at Claire Smith Official, so pretty much the same thing as the Facebook one here. So, alrighty, I haven't been on a Facebook Live, I don't believe, for a few weeks. So it is good to be back with you guys. If you are coming on, I see that we're drumming up an audience now. Would you mind just telling me where you are watching from and just say hey, because I really like to see you guys. And I do get to know you. I'm sure that some of you are like, hey, do you even remember me? Or do you know who I am? Or you have so many people. I do, I really do. And I love it. I don't know where that's coming from. This little light. Okay, so maybe I need to do that. All right, so yes, if anyone's on, go ahead and tell me where you're calling from. That's in the future. I'll do a radio show then. Okay, so anyways, I will say, wait a couple minutes here. My name is Claire Smith. If you're new, if you started following me and you're like, who is this girl? I don't even know who she is. I must have clicked liked on her page before. I live in Ohio and I am a fitness trainer. I'm a blogger, writer, and a speaker. And I am here to share my heart with you today about what I believe God has called me to, which is to spread the message of His love through and His perspective about stewarding our mind, body, and soul. And so you will get practical fitness tips and health tips and kind of emotional management and such from me here, but it's all going to be heavily based, all of it, in Scripture and what I believe that God has to tell us, and just to encourage your heart, because, you know, Lord knows we need some more encouragement in this world, that is for sure. Okay, so anyways, hi. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the holidays, and it's December 1st. I'm wearing my Christmassy shirt today and my Christmassy earrings, and we're going to get to it because the holiday weight gain is the struggle's real. Am I right? I always think, like, if January 1st didn't start right after the holidays, I feel like January 1st, New Year's, would be a whole nother type of a conversation. People wouldn't be flipping out as much. But the reality is we are now entering into a season where we have lots of opportunities to eat and drink really good food and to kind of just go off a little bit of what we've been used to doing. Now, let's back up a little bit. We actually start this around Halloween. That's when I typically see most people start this slide, because you have Halloween candy around, you've got the bowls, you've got your kids' bags, all that stuff, and it's little Twix here, little Snickers there, and before you know it, you've put on a few pounds from the sugar that you've been eating. Then we move right into Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving itself, what I kind of appreciate about it is it's kind of on Thursday, one day for Thanksgiving. And so you're not just eating around the clock, but you may be, like, for example, I spend Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Black Friday with my family and then my sister in Chicago. So I'm traveling. And so Thanksgiving weekend ends up being kind of a heavier food type of an item and a place for me. And so you kind of have Thanksgiving and then you kind of downshift, and here we are in the first week of December. And if you're anything like me, and chances are you are, because I am just your average girl from Ohio, who's a mom, has 2 kids, and is married, and loves life and being with people, you probably have some social events coming up. Tonight, for example, we already have a Christmas open house to attend. And so that's one of the very first things that I have in front of me. Tomorrow, we have an event in the afternoon. Sunday, I have an event. And this is just the first week of December. We haven't even hit Christmas yet. So, more than likely, your life is similar to mine. And I want to help you wade through the next few weeks, the next 24, 25 days. Honestly, until the end of December, because we all know that week between Christmas and New Year's is just as tricky too, right? I think by that week, we're all like, screw it. We're just eating whatever we want because January 1st is coming. Well, I really don't want you to do that as your health coach, but we're going to talk through a few things, all right? So we want to avoid this holiday weight gain, and it is very normal, very common for this to happen for people. Now, right off the bat, what you're doing right now in your life and the past few holidays and Christmases are working for you, then I want you just don't even listen to this anymore. You can shut this off, okay? So if it's working for you, you don't need any more tips. I don't care. I actually am all about you. I don't want you to be skinnier or fitter or anything like that. I want you to have the health and the life that you believe is right for you. There's a big, strong part of my message. But if you're struggling, if you're like, yeah, Claire, I still could use a few tips, then please stay on this video, because hopefully it will be very practical for you. So if you look back your past few years and you're like, yeah, December's a little hairy for me, and I always in January am ready to like drop some weight. Like I'm so ready by January 1st. Okay, if that's you, then you probably need to listen to some of the things here, because what's happening is that you're just continuing on the same patterns. You've not changed anything, therefore nothing's gonna change, you know? So you can't expect change if you've not changed something in your behaviors or in your patterns or whatever that is. And so that's what I wanna help you identify today, and just give you some really practical and realistic ways to kind of formulate and think about your holiday health plan, okay? The very first thing is this: the holiday health plan starts today. It starts right now, December 1st. I was speaking with one of my coaching clients earlier this week on Monday, and we were setting up her next phone call, and it was in 2 weeks. And she says, maybe then we can talk about my holiday health plan. And I'm like, girl, we actually probably need to be talking about that now. I don't want to wait for another 2 weeks to help you prepare and how you're going to eat and move and sleep and rest and all that kind of stuff. And actually, it was that phone call that made me think about having this Facebook Live, because it's really important for us to realize that it starts right now. Because right now, before Christmas, is when all the fun is happening. It's when you have all these gatherings and Christmas luncheons. Okay, so then Wednesday, I had another coaching client, and we were scheduling her next call, and she's like, I can't do it next week at lunch because we have a couple holiday parties and meetings at work. Well, already then at work, she's already has a little bit of a challenge. And so again, this is real life, and I'm all about living in the real world. If you followed me for any amount of time, I'm not trying to take us out and be some oddball people who are trying to manage our health. I want you to live in your reality, and I want you to have tools to understand, like, how is this actually going to work in my life so I'm not miserable on either spectrum, all right? But I want you to know that your holiday health plan, it starts today. And so we have to start thinking about that. So tonight, as I attend a holiday open house, I've got to be mindful. I've got to be thinking, yeah, maybe in October, attending an open house like this, I would be a little more flexible on how I eat and drink, but knowing that I'm gonna also have it Saturday, and I'm gonna also have something Sunday, and then my son has a choir concert the following Thursday, which there's always stuff there, I kind of need to pace myself a little bit. And so it starts today. If I would just be like, who cares, and I'll wait until December 20th, I don't know when you would think to start this, you may be a lot of calories in and a lot of missed workouts in. Okay, so that's number one, as I want you to know it starts today. Number two is I want you just to make little hits to first base every single day. I do not want you hitting huge home runs or grand slams. I've actually written a blog post about this on my blog, clairesmith.me, and you can search it in there. But I don't want you making these huge home runs in the middle of this season. It's what I tell people when they're pregnant. People are always asking me, they're like, Claire, how should I work out when I'm pregnant and all that kind of stuff? I just tell people, let's just keep it here. Let's just stay steady. And I want you just to do what you can do. Just make it to first base every single day. And before you know it, you're going to make yourself around the whole field. You're going to hit first and second and third. Oh, you got a home run. You made it to the home plate, right? And that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to be like, I'm going on a detox or a 21-day plan. And I'm not against those. If you hear me talk, it's not like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally against those things, because I think they have their purpose. But I have also found that they can add undue stress to women's lives when it's already a stressful season. So now we become stressed out over something that's supposed to help us manage our stress, our health, our exercise, and how we eat. Does that make sense? So that's individual, and you've got to decide that for yourself. But for me, I'd rather you keep it really simple. I'd rather you just make the hit to first base and you wake up the next day and you hit it again. And so specifics, of course, I'm going to talk about water. Of course, I'm going to talk about moving more. That doesn't mean that you've got to go sweat it out at all of your classes. Maybe it's just getting outside and getting a walk in. It is trying to manage your sleep and manage your stress. Those are two non-calorie things that will impact your health more than anything that you know, especially women as we get older, our mid to upper 30s. It impacts us so much. I'm 37, I'm seeing it. I'm real life proof, and I think I'm in pretty good shape and have pretty good disciplines. Those two things right now are rocking my world. So I have shifted into how I have tried to manage my health. So if you're menopausal, you're having any types of hormonal issues, you need to be mindful that it's not just the foods that you're eating and how you're working out. It's the stress that you have in your life and how you're sleeping and all that. So that's also another huge part of my message. Okay, so that's number 2 is I just want you to keep it simple, hit it to first base. Number 3 is this. I want you to think ahead a bit. And I kind of alluded to this earlier for myself, that you kind of need to look at your schedule just a little. Be like, over this next week, what type of social activities am I going to have? Now, for me personally, social activities, which is date nights, girls' night out, any type of random gathering or open house, that's kind of when I let loose a little bit on what I eat and drink. That's my chance for me to try new things, to enjoy it. I'm not particularly, I don't stress out over the types of food I eat when I have those social events, okay? Throughout the week, I'm pretty much structured, and that helps. But around Christmas and the holidays, guess what? You have a ton of opportunities to eat food and to have in front of you. And if you took every single one of those opportunities to be like, oh, I'm just going to enjoy it because it's here, again, at the end of the season, no wonder you've put on the weight. Now, it is not my job, nor will I ever tell you, or will you hear from me, that you should or shouldn't enjoy the food and the drinks and whatever. I think that's a personal decision. I believe God has created food and drink to be enjoyed. I'm not an extremist in that aspect. But I also believe there has to be some balance, but I think it looks different for every single person, what your goals are, what you need in your life in that season, okay? So again, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you that you can only have one cheat night a week, if you wanna call it that. That's not my job. I want you to talk about that with God. And I want you to be empowered to make that strong decision for you and for your family. Because ultimately what you're doing now is impacting your family and everybody else that you're with. So again, I want you to think ahead a little bit. Look at your schedule. And I do this all the time. I'm always mindful of what's happening in my life and what I will have the opportunity to eat. And so I just kind of know it. I'll walk into the situation knowing that there's going to be a plate of cookies there, or knowing that there's going to be whatever it is, and I have control, I don't have control, and I have a little mini game plan in my head, and that kind of helps me just space it out a little bit, right? Okay, number 4 is this. I want you to keep it steady, and again, I kind of briefly talked about this on another point when I said when you're pregnant, what advice I give people. I just want you to keep it steady. Keep a steady pace right now. I don't want you to have any great gains in your weight, and I don't want you to have any great losses in your weight. This is not the time to be like, I'm gonna drop 10 pounds before January 1st. I mean, again, if you want to and that floats your boat and you're at a season in life where that doesn't stress you out, then by all means. But if I did that right now in my season of life with the pace that my husband and I run at, and with my children and the stuff that we're involved in, it would stress me out to no end, and it would backfire. They would like cancel each other out. So for me, I'm just like keeping a steady pace. I'm just happy to be where I am. If I can make good decisions every single day, some days maybe is not as much, but I want you just to make sure that you are actually just keeping that steady pace, okay? Really important. Number 5, I want you to think outside of the box a little bit. All right, this is really important. All right, so again, I'm real life mom here. I'm a real life person. My kids are involved in lots of things. My husband's involved in lots of things, and so am I. So the plans, the workouts, the way that I eat, the way that I meal plan, that worked perhaps in September and October, sometimes does not fly in November and December. And it is a wise woman who is able to step back for a second and say, Is this for the greater good of my family, for me to be attending this exercise class at this time, for me to be spending this money on this class at this time, for me to be freaking out over meal prep because I got it done or I didn't get it done? It goes both ways, honestly. And so you may have to think outside of the box a little bit, which means you might have to change. And that is scary for some people because you're like, but Claire, it's been working so well for me, and I might end up gaining weight, and I might, all these fears and such. And I get that. I totally understand that. And I think disciplines and all those things are super helpful for us. But on the other hand, I'm always going to come at this with a larger, big life perspective. Like, what's the greater good of the big picture? And so sometimes we have to think outside the box, which means maybe for December, you don't attend those evening workout classes because it's not conducive to your family's schedule. Maybe for December, you're like, I like to meal prep and plan for Mondays and Fridays or Wednesdays and Fridays, but you know what? Maybe that's not going to work for me. Maybe it is. Maybe I've got to batten down the hatches a little bit more because you're like, my family's going berserk and everybody's eating everything around them and I have got to rein it in. And so maybe you need to do it that way. But all I'm saying is what worked in the past in the past that was part of your normal may not work now for this particular season. And here's the thing, it's totally fine. It's absolutely fine that you're adjusting. Again, that is what a wise woman does. You have power, women, wives, moms, you have so much power. And I'm not saying that in like some feminist way, like, oh, just rule the roost and all that kind of stuff. No, you have power because you have influence, because you can decide the environment of the family and how things are going to roll. And it starts with us. It starts with us, which is why my message is so important, because I don't want to say it's my message. The message on my heart, I feel, is so important because we can do so much and impact so much with our little families, okay? And so think outside the box a little bit. Give yourself permission to do that. All right, number 6 is this, and this is a huge one that will keep many of you from success in the holidays, and we'll just keep on packing on those pounds. You have to believe that you can do it differently this year. You have to believe that it's not going to be the same. Because right now, here's the thing, and I think I was talking about this with one of my clients this week. She was saying that it's always been this way. And that for her, it's easy for her to go back into that mentality. And I get that. We all have something in our lives that's kind of like a stronghold for us. And we have a pattern of thinking that is just etched here, and we just go to it all the time. So when you think it, you act it then. So then your behaviors are doing those things. And unless you believe and change that thinking, right, and then have faith, which means you're putting it into action and saying, no, this is going to change this year. If you're not doing that, then that holiday gain is going to happen again, okay? And so you can. I want to tell you, I want to breathe life into you, and I'm not being fake. I have seen it with people year after year, people who desire to change. Now, I'm not going to say it's necessarily like easy because it's a little different, you know what I mean? But you've got to believe it first, and you've got to say, I can do this. As soon as you allow a little doubt, as soon as you allow that to creep in, oh boy, you better watch out. It's going to start to explode, because as soon as the first quote unquote mess up, which I hate saying, screw up, because we're all just learning here. But as soon as you do something off plan, that doubt just boom, it just falls through, and then you're like, screw it, I'm done. Just like that. And people give up. But they don't really give up. They're not happy, because in 3 months they come back to me, or they start a new detox plan that's super extreme and teaches them nothing about, behaviors and all that kind of stuff. I don't want that for you guys. I don't. I want you to get down to the nitty-gritty and all that. So again, I want you to believe, and then I want you to act upon it. And again, that doesn't mean you have to go crazy with something. Maybe just change one habit this season. Maybe just change one thing that you always have done this holiday season that is getting you in trouble. Like, I don't know, maybe it's when you start making your cookies at the first week of December and you keep it in the freezer and you just start to go berserk. You pull them out all the time and eat it. Maybe it's the justification of skipping your workout Maybe it is, I don't know, there's a number of things that you could go there. And so I want you just to pick one item there and think, what can I work on that's different this season that I can change? And again, that doesn't mean it's a whole revamp of your whole health, but it is one part to that. And I think that's really important. And then you're going to set yourself up. You're going to give yourself an assist. If you know basketball, an assist is when somebody they pass the ball to someone who scores. And so the assist is huge. The assist is needed. If you don't have that, then the person's not going to score. If you are able to set yourself up, if you got an assist there for January to score, that's what I want you to start thinking about. I want you to think about this time right now as kind of training time for January, because you know as well as I do, you'll probably be signing up for that gym membership and ready to go. The final tip I have for you is I want you to keep the bigger picture in view. And again, this is my heart, and this is where my faith influences me in the things that I tell you as a health trainer and a health coach. It's not just about your health. It's not just about what you weigh and if your pants are a little snug. It's not about that. It is a piece to our puzzle. And do I believe that God cares about it? Yeah, I do. I believe He's given us our health as a gift. Have you ever had someone that doesn't have full health or a part of it? They would tell you it's a gift, so appreciate it. And this is the exact way that God has us do His work in this season. And let me tell you this world is a dying world that is discouraged and frustrated. And do you know what they need? They need the light of Jesus. And that's what this season is all about. So if you are just in a sugar coma, if you are so tired because you have no energy, if you have anxiety, and you have stress, and we know that a healthy amount of working out is very helpful in that. I'm not saying it's going to heal that 100%, but there is some amount of activity that's going to help you kind of manage that emotional piece in your life. But if you're not able to really engage in the world, if you are not able to handle when people do something a little irritating, whether it's a family member or maybe it's somebody at Target in line. You know, you guys know what it's like. It gets intense around the holidays. And people who are stressed out, they hurt people even more. And it's not intentional. So what we want to do, guys, is set ourselves up to be grace-filled people. We want to be people who love the Lord, and it is evident in our everyday actions. That's what it's like to be the church. That's what it's like to go out and to do this thing that we call Christianity, that we call faith. It's not to be held just in our little churches and in our little Christian circles, okay? So again, we have to remember this big picture. So I am the most important thing to this kingdom of God because the Holy Spirit resides in me right now at this moment. He has a specific word for me today. He has a specific plan for me today. And that means, yeah, especially in the Christmas season, especially so. And so if I allow just the monotony of the day, if I allow, again, just my health to kind of get away from me, then that is going to impact or not impact the people around me. And that's the bigger picture I want you to always keep in mind. That is exactly what I want to always have you keep in mind. Not just in the holidays, not just now in December. This is my message. This is, if you come in on this blog and you're new, there you go. I just summed it up for you. This is why I do what I do. It's, yeah, do I think it's cool if you can drop weight and, get quicker on your 5K pace and, push out push-ups? Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. I think that's awesome, but it can't be the driving force as to why what you're doing and what you're doing, why you're making the sacrifices. And so we want to be a better mom. We want to be a better wife. We want to be someone who can deal and manage with the stress and do it in a grace-filled manner. And so we want to be able to present the present, which is the gift. What is the gift to this world? It's Jesus. And we want to be able to present that out and say, here it is. Here it is. And you're going to see that from me. You're going to see that from me. And yes, your body is exactly how that happens. Your mind is connected there. You guys know this. I don't have to try to convince this with you. You know how much this and this is connected. You absolutely do. And so I always want you to come to that moment. So maybe you need to simplify your life a little bit. Maybe it's time to stop doing some things in your life. The most important thing is for you to wake up every morning and spend some time with God. That's going to be your number one thing. I don't even care if you go on a walk or work out. You need to make sure that you are spending time in the presence of God every single morning, and that is going to really rock your world. That's going to give you that peace. And I have definitely found that there are differences in lots of areas in my life on the days I spend with God and the days that I don't. And it's a constant communion with the Lord. It's a constant communion with Him. It's that prayer. It's that asking. It's just basking in His presence. And so that's really important. And you can do that while working out even, guys. How about that? You can go on walks and listen to podcasts and worship music. I go on walks a lot. I live in Ohio, so the weather is not fantastic all the time. This week's been great. And so that's why I encourage my heart is I go on a walk and listen to worship music. You would not be surprised to find me in the streets of my city with my hands in the air at times. But anyway, so those are my quick tips. I'm going to run through them again very quickly, and I'll take some questions after this. Number one, your health plan starts today. It doesn't start in 2 weeks when it gets closer to Christmas. It starts right now. Number two, keep it simple. I want you to make hits to first base all the time. No home runs here. I don't want you knocking it out of the park. I just want you to go to first base, then second base, then third base. Number three, think ahead a little bit. Look at your schedule. What do you have going on this week? How many social gatherings do you have this week? Are you going to indulge at this party, or are you going to kind of back it off a little bit? Have a little balance there. Number four, keep it steady. No great ads, no great takeaways. I just kind of want you to boom, boom, boom. Keep it steady throughout the holidays. Steady is all relative. I mean, maybe it's an extra 5 pounds. Maybe you drop some. I don't really know anyone that drops weight unless they're going through emotional distress, but keep it steady. Number five, think outside the box. What maybe worked for you 3 months ago may not work right now in December. So you are a wise woman. You are empowered by the Holy Spirit to make these type of decisions for your family. So is it wise for you to go in the evening classes and still work out? I don't know. You guys talk about that with the Lord. Maybe it's a little stressful, so maybe it's not the wisest thing for you to do. And so think about that in all capacities. Number 6 is this: believe you can change. And then I want you to act. Believe that you actually can change. What's going to happen as soon as you have doubt in your head, and this goes for anything in life, and you have one little bump or misstep, you will just be like, boom, and then it just shatters, and you're like, screw it all. I knew I couldn't do it this year. Wrong. You can do it this year. And that doesn't mean you have to just revamp all of your health. It may just mean that you're revamping one little bit of it. So find that one thing that you know it gets you in trouble every single year. It's that mocha that you buy every single morning on the way to work or 3 times a week. Maybe that's the thing that you change this year. Again, doesn't have to be a full overhaul. And the final one is keep the bigger picture in view. So again, it's not just about your health. It's not about your waistline. It's not about any of that. Us, as Christians, as people who have the Holy Spirit in our lives, it is about presenting Jesus. It's about presenting the present, the gift to the world. And for us to be these type of people that are able to say, like, it's a stressful world. I get it. And I am sorry. And I'm going to smile at you. I'm going to extend grace when I could have extended a rebuke or something negative. I'm going to give you my time because I know you don't have time, but I have time. I'm going to give you a gift, a service of mine, because the Lord has gifted me with a spiritual gift or a skill. And so what you want to do is say, like, I want to be in that spot where I, mind, body, and soul, am able to give to the world. I'm able to give to the world. And again, this doesn't just apply during Christmas. This applies year round. And this is the heart of my message, you guys. This is the heart of my message. You've got to start your mornings, or at least some point in the day, connect with the Lord. Get in the Word. If you need devotional options, if you have a question about any of those, leave a comment below and I will give you some of my favorite ones. I'm working on a blog post. I think Satan does not want me to get this blog post out. It's some of my favorite Christmas items and gifts that I've had this year. And it has some really good books, but my blog has gone down. My computer lost its battery this week. I've been so busy, I can't get it out, but I'm hoping to do it tonight maybe. So we will see. Okay, guys, so that is your holiday health plan. Do you guys have any questions? You can ask about anything you want. It's a live Q&A. If you have anything about, you know, like I said, the holidays, any specifics on exercise or eating, or anything in between, let me know. Okay, Elizabeth says, I would love devotional ideas. I always need fresh ideas and perspectives. Okay, I don't have it down here with me. Okay, I have referenced this book and told it 1,000 times over. I feel like Paul Tripp needs to give me some a hug for as many times as I have talked about this book. It's called New Morning Mercies by Paul Tripp, and it's a daily devotional on point. It is one of my favorite ones right now. I also love My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. That's an oldie but goodie. I started that one in high school and read it through a few times. I also love shereadstruth.com. They're an online, and they have now come out with like workbooks and such that you can do every single day. The If Gathering, they have daily devotionals as well. First Five, which is part of Proverbs 31 Ministries, they are also a great devotional. So those are like devotionals. Those are what I would say would be like your quick bites during the day that you kind of start your connection. But I would also encourage you to start doing some studies. Like, that's what I want women to do. I don't want you guys just to be like these little tiny bites of things. Like that eventually, okay, that's great, and you need to do that. But then you need to get into some studies, some robust things where you're learning scripture, you're understanding history, and man, there are some fantastic Bible study writers. I'm doing Priscilla Shire's Armor of God right now. Amazing. It's so good. So we're taking an in-depth look into the armor of God, and it's been so cool. And that takes a little more time than just 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, you know, so it's additional commitment level, but you'll get something out of that. Beth Moore has some, Kelly Mentor has some, Jen Wilkin has some, so there's a lot there. So I hope that helps. Do you have any other questions? Hey, Courtney. You love it. I know, Priscilla's the bomb. I was listening to some YouTubes of hers the other day. I said, you go, girl. That was great. Just YouTube Priscilla Shire. Just pick any of them, and you'll be like, that's good. Her dad is Tony Evans, and he's a pastor in Texas as well, and I also love him. He's one of my favorites. You're very welcome, Elizabeth. Any other questions? Okay, well, if you think of one, add it below. I always come back and kind of recheck this through, and if you felt like this was helpful, would you please share it with somebody? If it's a like-minded person, if they could be encouraged in this, then I would love to have them in our community. And so share this video with any of your friends. I will put it on YouTube, so that will be able to be linked, and I'll probably put it out in a blog post when I'm able to get my blog running. And yeah, and if you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram there. I have a little bit more insight into like my day-to-days on my Instagram stories. So yeah. Hey, Robin, thank you. Good to see you too. In your little cute profile picture. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna close it up. So have a great evening. Have fun this week and all those holiday parties that are starting. And we'll chat with you guys later. Bye.